Hello, everyone. My guest today is Darina Kuya. She's the co-founder and COO at OpenPhone. OpenPhone gives entrepreneurs and professionals a supercharged business phone number in an app. Before OpenPhone, she was a product manager at Vidyard. Michael Litt obviously has been on the show many times. She founded Product Hunt Toronto, the first and largest product hunt community in the world. Started her career at Deloitte, first in consulting and later in innovation. All right, Darina, you ready to take us to the top?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell me about open phones. Like we've seen like David Hauser from Grasshoppers come along. We've seen other like formations of kind of the business phone number through the decades. How are you tackling this problem?
Yeah, so we've seen so before starting OpenPhone, we noticed, me and my co-founder, that still a lot of entrepreneurs, whether it's startup founders or small business owners, they're still using their personal phone number for business. And it's just so limiting, and it's a bad decision that they make when they start their company. And although there are solutions on the market, there is still no easy, modern, mobile-first solution that is really built for how you use tools in today's day and age. So we definitely saw an opportunity to build something that people would love and want to use.
So actually, tell me about a customer that recently signed up and how they're using it.
Yeah. So, I talk to customers a lot. This is specifically if it's an agency owner who wanted to get a business phone number to put on their website instead of listing their personal number. Our sign-up process takes less than a minute. It's really 30 seconds. So they go on our website, they pick their local number, they download the app, and that's it. So it's really the easiest, fastest way to get started with a business phone number on top of your cell phone.
Okay, so this is not a ad model attribution tracking thing where you will generate 10,000 phone numbers for the same business and a phone number per billboard so they can track attribution. This is just like get your business phone number so it's not your personal phone number.
Exactly. Very simple. That's it.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay, put this stuff on a timeline. Well, actually, first pricing model. So how do you price for this thing? Is it SaaS or usage-based or combo?
Yeah, it's SaaS. We have a simple unlimited plan. Since we're still pretty early, we actually wanted pricing to be also transparent, simple, and something that makes sense. It's $10 per month per phone number. You can have up to 5 numbers in your account, and you can also have your team members. So the key is you start your company, you get your business phone number, and then as your company grows, you have employees. So it's $10 per month per phone number or per user.
Okay, got it. So you, just to be clear, I know you're early, but are you betting right now that 3, 4, 5 years from now, when you come back on the show, you're going to be driving most of your expansion revenue by driving more seats in the same company, or more phone numbers across the same company, or some other upsell metric we haven't talked about already?
That's right. Yeah. And we are seeing early signs of this. We're still early, as you said, but this is definitely something, we want to be the phone number you get when you incorporate your company, and we want to grow with you all the way to IPO. That's absolutely.
Well, so how do you define I guess my question is, I have an agency of 20 people. I get a phone number from you. How do you define a user?
Yeah, that is the person who has their number. So a user would be you, Nathan, someone on your team who gets an open phone number. That would be a user.
But what if it's the same phone number as mine? I have one phone number with you for the agency. Can all 20 use it for $10 a month?
So I love that question. We're building that out right now. So one of the big, and I'm sure you would ask this, one of the big things we're focusing on is allowing for that use case where you have one phone number shared with your whole company.
So you're only one-to-one. You're only one-to-one right now. You don't have a one-to-many option.
That is the case today. Correct.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, but that's a huge, as you can imagine, that's a huge growth opportunity and something we're very excited to build.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So then, it sounds like it's fair to say then you're kind of average customer today, just because we don't have time to talk about all of them, but it sounds like on average you're paying $10 a month, something like that.
We have quite a bit of customers with multiple numbers. And we, as I said, we already have customer. I think it's fair to just simplify that would be the case, just to keep it simple. But we're seeing, and one of the reasons why we're excited to build OpenPhone for Teams is because we already have customers in bigger companies where they have a number, someone else on the team has a number, they have multiple numbers in a company. So we're seeing that growth already.
Yeah. Well, I think you should correct me if you're wrong. I mean, if you see a sweet spot where it's actually average like 2 seats per account or 3 seats per account, that would be like more like 20 or $30 a month. But you're saying you're seeing isolated incidents, but it's not big enough yet to be a trend.
We haven't, so it's definitely a trend. The reason why I'm not talking about it much is just because we are right now building the product. We're building support for this officially in the product. We are seeing this with some kind of manual work on our ends to support it. It's a trend that's pushing us forward. But we're still building the products to support that.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. Fair enough. Cool. All right. And then put all this on a timeline for me. When did you write the first, when did you write the first line of code?
2 years ago.
Okay, so 2017.
It might have been, or even maybe two years and several months ago. Yeah, it was, okay. It was probably like spring 2017.
The reason I ask this question is I think founders deserve a lot of credit who figure out how to get their first dollar of revenue before spending a lot on the MVP. So my question to you is, how much money did you sink into your MVP before your first dollar of revenue?
Yeah, so it's my co-founder who built, who built the vast majority of the product, from those very early days. I think that I would kind of ballpark it at, under 10K. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd consider that pretty effective, actually.
Yeah. From the very beginning, the one thing about us is from the very beginning, we have been using the best tools and the best tooling to support, the product.
When was the first? So 2017 was first line of code. When was the first dollar of revenue? Do you remember the month?
Of course, I remember the person. I would love to give him a shout out. The first, it was actually someone from Twitter who was the first paying customer. The first dollar was in March, late March 20. This was already 2018.
Okay,
late March.
And how did this person from Twitter find you?
So we followed each other for a while, and this is Kent. He runs growth at Clearbank. He's awesome, by the way. Probably someone else who would be great for this podcast. He, we followed each other. I actually just DM'd him because he has an e-commerce store, and we saw a lot of interest among e-commerce founders getting a phone number for their store. And I just told him, hey, you're someone I've kind of been following. I just would love to get your thoughts. I didn't think, I want to sell the product. I just wanted true, honest feedback. Uh-huh. And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And yeah, that was awesome. I
love that story.
Didn't expect it would be Twitter out of all the places.
Well, so he signed up at Twitter. He's now at Clearbank. Is this kind of a common theme of how you got your first couple customers, kind of going down the e-commerce use case?
Yeah. So actually, a lot of our first customers were e-commerce founders that I found through Facebook groups and Reddit. One of the ways that, so our first customers were, it's not like people just randomly found us. I wish that was the case.
Wait, sorry, Darina, can you say a name a Facebook group that you used early on?
Oh, there are so many. I wish I could. There are so many. I have to probably.
But you would just type like e-commerce. You type e-commerce into Facebook search and just go down the list.
Exactly. I would join a lot of groups. I joined way too many groups. I'm now a part of probably like hundreds. And I joined e-commerce groups and also just groups for entrepreneurs, because when we just got started, e-commerce ended up being a great sort of category for us, but we still didn't know what type of entrepreneurs would be the best fit for what we're building. Yep. So I joined a lot of groups, and I was definitely careful about not spamming or anything like that. I just said, hey guys, this is what we're building. We believe existing solutions are very limiting, and there is really no simple, easy way to have a business phone. And people started responding, and I saw that's how we got a lot of interest and a lot of signups. So
these are the first few beautiful months, the infancy months. Now, fast forward to today, how many customers are you serving?
Yeah, so we're north of 4,000 customers.
Okay, wow. Okay, so 4,000 folks paying. So, I mean, when you look at your growth channels today, is it still just like you're still using Facebook groups just more effectively, or have you gone into different channels?
We've definitely gone into different channels. We're still doing things that don't scale. I am a huge proponent of that.
Name two of those things.
Great question. So recently we just did this experiment where for people signing up through specific communities, we send them.
Be specific. Tell me the actual community that.
Sure. So we are part of, we graduated from Y Combinator. So for the latest Y Combinator graduates, what we did is we offered them free business cards together with their open phone number. So what we did is they get their first business phone number and we order them and make these custom, beautiful business cards because for many of them, they don't still have business cards and they're still early.
So how big is the batch and how many actually signed up on a paid $10 a month account as a result of this campaign?
I can't disclose. Given it's the current batch, I can't disclose the size or those type of details. But what we do this, I would actually say it's less of a acquisition strategy and more of a retention and word of mouth strategy. It's less.
Yeah, but how can they do word of mouth unless you've activated them and they're paying? How can you retain someone that they haven't activated yet?
Right. So our activation is starting to use. So we look at activation is when someone is starting to use their phone number. So when someone is like, they get their number and they give it out to people. So in a way, business cards is one of those ways that they start, using their number.
Got it. Your thesis is once they print your number on their business card, they're not going to change their number because it's on all the business cards.
Exactly.
So how many, using the business card strategy, would you say, I'm trying to quantify this channel just so we get out of talking about like kind of fluffy story, right? So if you send out whatever the channel is, you send out 100 companies free business cards, right? And you activate them. How many of them will actually, move to the point where they are, however you define retained or active? How many of them become active on Open Phone?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really wish I had this number for you because we literally just did this. So this is, we just, so we are still shipping some of the cards. This is something.
So you're still testing it.
We're still testing it. I actually just have a batch of cards that we still need to send.
No problem. Real quick, some faster questions here because I just realized I'm enjoying this, but we're running out of time. Churn's critical in a SaaS company. What's your churn today and how do you make sure to keep it low?
Yeah, so we have some churn, and I can't necessarily share the exact number.
A range is fine, though. I mean, talking like less than 5% a month.
It's somewhere there, yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around.
Well, I mean, I would say most people that are at this price point, churn is actually typically but not less than 5%. It's usually between 5 and 10% gross revenue churn monthly. It's just a small business as they go out of business. You're in that range.
Exactly. We are, and I mean, the thing for us is that what we've noticed is that we've made it way too easy for people to sign up. Right? We make it almost way too simple. So there are people who are using us for non-business purposes, and so we don't count that towards churn.
Okay, got it. But then you can't count them as a customer, and you're either, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Do you actively do that when you see 1,000 new customers sign up in a month? Do you actively say, "Oh, we can't count these 3; they've paid, but they're not our target fit," or do you still count them in your customer number?
So the one thing is because of this, we have changed our onboarding process to ask these qualifying questions. So our web onboarding, we have this figured out already. We're now implementing that in our mobile sign up. Because the one thing for us is that, we have a lot of people downloading us from the App Store, Play Store, and we're just including that qualifier question in those channels.
Break down the team for me today. How many folks on the team?
We're just 5 people right now.
I love that. How many engineers versus like salespeople, marketing?
So, my co-founder is still very much writes code. So we'd say 3 engineers. So we have 2 engineers, my co-founder, myself on sales, marketing, ops, and we have someone on customer support.
Okay, so kind of 3-2 split there. Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then talk to me quickly about growth. So 4,000 customers today. Do you remember where you were exactly a year ago?
We were very close to 0. We were very well, specifically a year ago. I'm realizing it's almost August.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got your first dollar revenue in March. So you had March, April, May, June, July, August.
Right. Okay, good point. So we were probably like 1,000 or somewhere around that range, maybe a little less, a little more. We launched officially in July. We announced
of 2018.
Of 2018, we did our product hunt launch, we did our TechCrunch launch. Everything was around that time.
That's great. Now, if I take obviously 4,000 accounts, right, at minimum $10 a month, it's fair to say you guys are doing north of $40,000 a month right now in revenue, correct?
That's right.
Is it a stretch goal to say this year you feel like you can break that $1 million mark, or is that probably going to have to wait till next year?
Oh, it's definitely, we're very ambitious. I think that's definitely on our books. Yeah.
But what I'm asking is how aggressive are you being this year? You've already articulated that you're seeing some patterns where folks are buying 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts, right, per customer. Do you feel like you can reach that 83 grand a month by December this year, or is that too quick?
I think so. We so the one thing for us is we've been investing in a lot of we're gearing up for a very exciting fall with a lot of things we want to launch that will definitely bring us closer to that number.
Yeah, like these one to many kind of phone numbers, things like that.
Exactly, which we see as the huge growth opportunity specifically because of what you mentioned, how we can now serve bigger companies and we can be a better fit for a bigger team.
Real quick, Product Hunt, July 12th launch, 744 upvotes. Do you remember how many new website hits or signups you got on that day?
Oh, Product Hunt was one of our best channels, both for
quantify though. How many signups?
Yeah, you know what? I will tell you right now.
She has the data. Analytics. I love it.
Yeah.
It would have been July 12th.
At least 400 customers. That would be the very least. I would say
400 people, not signups, actual people that started paying $10 a month from Product Hunt.
Exactly. Oh, wow. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay, so the reason I asked that was that more or less effective than the day you got the TechCrunch placement.
Oh, so I think the one thing about TechCrunch placement is given how much it has boosted our SEO and also when it shows up in the search results, TechCrunch keeps bringing us people constantly. So TechCrunch was also very effective. I would say it's similar effectiveness.
But over a longer period of time.
Exactly. I still see people signing up through TechCrunch, like yesterday. That's one of the channels that just almost keeps bringing us people as we go. That's
great. Now, talk to me real quick before we wrap up with the famous 5 funding. You went through YC. So what have you raised to date?
Yeah. So YC was 120K. We also raised a seed round that we will be announcing soon, shortly after YC.
Very cool. Okay, good. And then how aggressive, like most people would say at this stage, you're raising for like 12 to 18 months of burn. How aggressive are you being with burn? I mean, can you sleep at night with like 10, 20 grand or a month, or are you being more aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely can sleep at night. We from a burn perspective, we invest in having, again, we invest in hiring the best people and having a very, very strong team. So we're pretty cost effective when it comes to everything else, but we don't compromise on, people and
after the raise though, what I'm asking is just how comfortable you be. So after the raise, I mean, are you in your plan, are you comfortable scaling burn to something more like 30 or 40 grand a month, or is that too aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, we have enough runway. Like we're comfortable for the next almost 2 years in terms of runway.
Yeah, after the next raise you announce.
That's right.
Very cool. All right, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
How to Win Friends and Influence People. I would call it a business book. Definitely,
that's good. It's definitely a business book. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I think recently, other than, as you mentioned, Michael Litt, who I worked with back at Vidyard, so definitely learned a lot from him. I also look at now, given what happened with Slack and their journey, so Stuart Butterfield.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Webflow.
Yeah, that's a good one. We had Vlad on if you guys want to listen to that episode back. I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago. Good company. Now, number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I get at least 7.5. I love sleeping.
What's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
In a relationship, single. I mean, not married.
Not married, no kids. And can I ask you, Darina, how old you are?
I am. Last question. I'm 29.
Okay, so take us. Yeah, the reason I ask is take us back to your 20-year-old self. What do you wish she knew?
I wish she took more risks earlier. I wish she just wasn't afraid of trying things, like trying more things and failing more. I love that.
Guys, openphone.co gives your business a phone number. Has more than 4,000 customers paying $10 a month. So more than 40 grand a month in revenue right now. Hoping to hit maybe that stretch goal of that $1 million run rate by the end of 2019 here, especially as they announce their second fundraise. They've raised 120,000 so far, just obviously from the YC batch. They have a team size of 5 folks, 3 engineers, 2 sales marketing, including Darina, again, scaling nicely, caught between 5 and 10% monthly revenue churn as they look to scale. Pretty expected at this price point. But again, scaling now into more enterprise options, more enterprise features. Darina, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much, Nathan.